I want a renaissance to shine a light, be the change we want, set things right. We've been waiting in the dark for so long.
For most people, articulating your emotions might be uncomfortable or embarrassing, but they can do it if they try. For some people, simply identifying what it is that you're feeling can seem impossible, and expressing your emotions is like trying to jump over the moon. Before I really get into what alexithymia is, I want to mention Cynthia Kim's excellent post, Emotional Dysfunction, Alexithymia, and ASD, and thank her for her excellent work in breaking down the topic into more accessible pieces, and for her insight that informed this video. Unlike many of my other video topics, right now alexithymia is not widely considered a condition or disorder by the psychiatric field, but more of a personality construct, or a kind of theory used to describe people who have trouble verbalizing emotions. While difficulty verbally expressing your emotions is a big part of alexithymia, hence the name, there is a bit more to it. So what is it like to have alexithymia? I don't have it myself, so I had to reach out to a lot of people who do in my research for this video, including my husband Marvin. I also read a lot, and I'll link my sources in the video description box. As I talk about this, it's good to keep in mind that every person is unique, and so their experience with alexithymia will be too, and that there are degrees in which people experience alexithymia, so mildly, moderately, more severely. But what experiences are common amongst people who have alexithymia? Difficulty distinguishing between emotions and bodily sensations is common in people with alexithymia, as well as, of course, difficulty identifying the emotions that you are feeling and difficulty expressing your emotions to other people. Many people with alexithymia will also be stimulus seekers and may think and process best when they can interact with their environment and externally work through things. I find that anecdotally, a lot of people who have alexithymia are kinesthetic learners who do best when they can be hands-on. Some autistic people I've spoken to believe that they didn't always have alexithymia, but they developed it when their attempts to express themselves or emote were met with disdain, disapproval, or anger from non-autistic people in their lives. Other autistic people believe that they have always had alexithymia and that it's just another feature of how their brain works. And I should note that you don't have to be autistic to have alexithymia. Alexithymia can occur in non-autistic people as well. When it comes to living with alexithymia, some people really struggle with it and others don't mind. I would only consider alexithymia a problem when the person with alexithymia themselves considers it a problem. People with alexithymia may have something known as flat affect. This can look a lot like speaking in a monotonous voice or speaking without much inflection of tone. It can also present as atypical facial expression, the most common presentation being flat or very subtle facial expressions. You can also have a flat affect without having alexithymia, something sometimes seen in autistic people. And it's possible to have a flat affect at some times and not others. I do when I'm very nervous or understimulated, or when I'm in an environment with unfamiliar people. A person who has flat affect has the same potential to experience the same vast range of human emotion as anyone else. They may just not be able to identify or express their emotions, or they may just express it through different facial expressions or tone of voice, or not at all. It's important to remember that alexithymia is real, that it can be a real struggle to live with, so you should never get angry at someone for having alexithymia. This especially goes for children. Children with alexithymia or flat affect need a safe environment where they feel free to express themselves, to work through their internal input, and figure out how best to cope with the way their brain works. You should never punish or shame a child for having alexithymia or for struggling with things that come easily to you. Some people reported to me that their alexithymia affects their ability to empathize, specifically in regards to cognitive empathy. Without going into too much detail, as empathy is its whole own video, there are two major components to empathy, affective and cognitive. Cognitive empathy, which many autistic people report that they struggle with, is when you mentally take the place of someone else to guess or determine their emotional state. What people often call standing in their shoes or seeing things from their perspective. Alexithymia can complicate an autistic person's attempts to guess what other people are feeling, as emotions in general can be a realm of mystery. There are no known medications or medical treatments for alexithymia. Some people have found skill-based psychotherapy to be helpful, types such as cognitive mindfulness and dialectical behavior therapy, as those therapy programs encourage people to practice frequent introspection and to identify emotions in themselves and others. Other more structured therapies that people have reported helpful include art therapy, music therapy focusing on songs with lyrics, and dance and movement therapy. That last one makes sense to me, as many people, autistic and not, report that they are able to process their thoughts or emotions better during or after physical activity. For example, going for a walk to think things over and cool off. Anything that encourages people to check in with themselves throughout the day and to work through their thoughts externally can help grow and develop a person's ability to identify and understand their own emotions and physical feelings. Journaling is really great for that. Marvin has a giant stack of journals that he's kept through the years. They're just wire-bound Hilroy notebooks, but the benefit is in sitting down and writing, preferably every day for best results. Although it can be hard for people with alexithymia to move beyond writing about daily events, I've heard from some people that with effort and practice, they report that their expressive writing begins to come easier and that they see positive real-world effects in their daily life. They're able to identify their own thoughts and emotions. If a person with alexithymia wants to challenge their brain to make new connections, one of the best ways to do that is by reading, specifically anything focused on narrative and expressive language, namely fiction, especially novels and graphic novels. And my personal recommendation, if you're into this sort of thing, because it's fun, is to try role-playing. Role-playing is all about expressive language, emotion, and narrative. My personal favorite ways to role-play are through tabletop gaming, like Dungeons & Dragons, or online multiplayer games. Other people I know like to do live-action role-playing, or LARPing, at Renaissance fairs, murder mystery parties, and pop culture conventions. I think if you do it right, it could be a great way to practice identifying and expressing emotion in a really fun and safe place. If your child or student has alexithymia, there are some ways that you can make a safe space and set an example. You can also remind them to check in with their own feelings and to practice expressing them. Some ideas of ways to do this are teaching your child to check for body signals and physical sensations for clues as to what they're feeling. While alexithymia can make organizing and interpreting physical sensations difficult too, it's often helpful to learn what certain physical sensations mean. For example, when Marvin is stressed, an old injury of his gets tight and has pain, while fear can make some people sick to their stomach, and anxiety produces a tension headache. A person who is angry may feel hot and may need to move their body, which can look like grinding their teeth or clenching their hands. A person who's nervous may have sweaty palms or a dry mouth, and they may startle easily. A shy person may blush and stammer, and blushing feels very warm around the face and neck. A happy person will giggle or smile, or a person who is happy may feel light, energetic, and engaged in what they're doing. It's good to talk about your emotions often and frankly and in simple terms. Point out when you notice what you're feeling. For example, wow, I was so hungry, no wonder I was acting cranky. Or, am I blushing? I must be embarrassed. Or, I feel sad because I miss spending time with her. Be straightforward and use simple terms when helping a child with alexithymia identify their emotions too. Don't ask too many questions at one time, and give plenty of time to process and answer. Remember that there is no wrong answer to how do you feel, and that any attempt to express emotion or interpret it in others should be met with encouragement and support. Be patient too, and remember that alexithymia varies in degrees of severity and can fluctuate over the course of a person's life. Some people with alexithymia may never get much better at all this feeling stuff, but if they have the desire to try, patience and consistency is usually required to see results. You can also ask the child with alexithymia how they feel about a specific event or thing. When you do that, you could offer a suggestion, which is a good way to learn the patterns of emotion and expression. For example, you can ask, are you sad that Milo ate the last cookie? Or, are you more sad or more angry that Milo ate the last cookie? Or, If I had wanted the cookie, I would be disappointed. How do you feel about it? I already said this, but it's worth saying again. Alexithymia is real, and it's really tough to learn to work around. And there is no wrong way to feel. And so any response to the question, how do you feel, should be acknowledged and appreciated. That includes responses like, I don't know, I can't tell, I don't understand, answers presented with a flat effect or inappropriate expression or tone, or an answer that you yourself wouldn't give. As a side note, I don't believe that it's fair to say that anyone's emotion is ever inappropriate. When it comes to adults with alexithymia, respect their challenges and believe them when they tell you about their experiences. If your friend has trouble telling you how they are feeling or how they feel about a certain topic, do your best not to take it personally, even if that topic is you. People with alexithymia can have and want friends, but friendship isn't a cure for neurology or the way you think. And so emotions and expression remain difficult. The same goes for romantic relationships with people with alexithymia too. Feel free to express how you feel and to ask how your partner feels and to be open and honest. But the key is to know that you don't have to doubt their love if they struggle with how to express it. It's there and it's real. The expression, the identification, the naming is the hard part. If you are a teacher, professor, or employer, consider letting people have the option to pass on emotion or expression-based icebreaker games. This creates a more accessible environment for autistic people and people with alexithymia. This is the end. I hope that this video was informative for everyone watching. For sources and further reading, check out the video description box. If you have alexithymia, I'd like to know. What would you like people to know about your experiences? You can join in the discussion in the comment section under this video. And if you have a topic that you would like to see covered in a future Ask an Autistic episode, feel free to post it in the comment section as well. And finally, here's a brief note to let you all know that I finally have a Patreon page. This has been suggested to me by many viewers, so thank you. If you would like to help support my channel whenever a new video comes out, head over to my Patreon page. And thank you for watching Ask an Autistic.
I want a renaissance to shine a light, be the change we want, set things right. We've been waiting.